Hi there friends, it's Stefan from Codewalk Empire and I'm back with another video. Today we are going to discuss how we can manage a state in a different way rather than using a traditional useState approach and what are the benefits we'll have. Here we have a Next.js application where I display the apartments for sale with some filtering system. For example, you can filter by entry, by floor, or by rooms. You can also cancel all the filters. Now let's take a look at the code, and here, as you can see, we have apartments page, classic Next.js application, and here I have this apartments section client. It's a component where we have all of our logic. Here I'm using the traditional approach when you want to have some interactivity within your Next.js application. So we have a main page, which is a server side, and then this component is basically a client component where I have all this kind of logic. So now the idea here is to convert completely this to server-side component or server-side page, let's say. And how we can do that? Well, first let's analyze a bit of this code. Here I have these apartments from this data file. Here, as you can see, it is an array of objects with this specific ID, name, and entry, floor, rooms, square meters, image available, and so on. You can add whatever you want. Here this data will be used later for filters. In real live application, this would be data which you get from your database, CMS, or whatever. So by the way, soon I'll publish a full tutorial on how to build this website. It will be a full stack application with some CMS, Next.js server-side filtering system, and other cool features. So make sure to follow me and to subscribe to my channel. Okay, now let's go back here and analyze a bit this code. Let's first go down there and let me just quickly move this a bit so you can see what's happening here, what is what. Okay, I think this is fine. Let's do it like this and zoom in a bit. Okay, perfect. So here are the filters. In my case here, I'm using these entry options. Down below, floor options, that's floor, and down below, room options. These are the rooms filters, right? And each of them has additional button here for setting filters to null again. So basically for resetting the filters for specific category. All right, let's click here. As you can see, entry options is basically an array of objects where I have a label for a button and a value. And I do that for every type of filters. Okay, I hope this makes sense. Now, down below, I have this, I'm mapping through the apartments, and here I have apartments card, which is irrelevant currently for this tutorial, for this specific video. And now let's go back. Here, as you can see, I have apartments state for storing them, and here is the active filter for entry, for floor, and for the rooms. Okay, this is where I basically simulate what would I do. I would here have some fetch request for the database and do the filtering. So yeah, this is basic JavaScript logic for filtering these apartments based on what I've pressed, right? And that's it. Let me go back here and see what are the limitations here. Let's say I want to find all the apartments in this entry, and they should be on the first floor, let's say, and have 3 rooms, whatever. So I say perfect. Let's say here we have tons of apartments and I want to set this to someone. So I'm going to copy this link, I'm going to open it here, paste it, and the other person won't be able to see what I've searched or what they filtered, right? So how we can fix this? Well, we can use the searchParams, and that is the preferred way when using Next.js and server-side. Okay, first let's remove this. So this is a client component, and here we are going to copy all this. Okay, and going to paste it down right here. Okay, I'm going to import everything. So button, these options. All right, now let's go back and just for now let's copy these states. And the last part, let's copy this. Okay, let's save and see if everything is working. Nope, and this is fine because this is interactivity of in our page. So we have useState, useEffect, and this is server-side page rendered on server. So for now, just for now, we are going to use client directive and convert this page to client page. Let's see now. Oh, just let me comment this metadata for now. And okay, here we have working page. Great. Now let's go step by step and convert this page to server-side page. First, we need to get rid of the useState. So let's remove it here. So this can be equal to apartments, and this is going to be a regular variable. All right, now we can remove this, and we are going to introduce useSearchParams from Next.js. So let me go back here and import useSearchParams from Next navigation. I'm going to go down there and let's say searchParams. It is equal to useSearchParams. Perfect. Now instead of useState, we can say so this selected entry, it is equal to this. So searchParams get entry. Okay, and I can do that for the rest of the. So selected floor, it will be equal to searchParams, then get floor, and last thing, selected rooms, which will be equal to selected searchParams get rooms. Okay. Now, what is this? If I go back here, our URL should look like something like this. So let's say entry will be equal to this. So searchParams here, when we use this function has a method get. All right, and what we pass here will basically be this. All right, so now if we'll console log this, it will return us a value of entry. So in this case, A. Now if we want to append to this URL, we can add another parameter, and this will be floor. So let's say floor equal to 2, let's say. All right, and we can do that for the rooms and so on and so on. Okay, now let's remove this use effect. It is not needed here. And this will be a const filtered apartments, and we're going to pass them here. So instead of the apartments. Okay, perfect. And now this is a TypeScript error. Why? Well, because these apartments have, for the floor, for the room, they have a type number, right? And this selected entry here will get this from selected floor. In this case, we'll get this from the URL, and this is type of string. So what we can do, we can wrap this in parse int. All right. So we can parse this, and I'm going to do it here. So we are now comparing numbers. All right, great. Let me save this and let's see what we do here. Let's remove this. Okay, now as you can see, if I say here A, we're going to have selected this entry A. If I switch this to B, we're going to get selected this entry B. This is perfect. But now what happens if I press here? Well, I have this error because we don't have useState here. So how can I fix this? Let me remove these handlers from the buttons. Okay, I will do it here, here, and also here. Again, select the rooms is type number, so we need to this value we need to convert it to string. So let's say to string. Okay, we can do it also here to string. Yep, I think this is good. And now how we can navigate when we press here to change this URL. Okay, let's go here and we can import a link component from Next. All right, so now for the href, let me just pass an empty object for now. Okay, and wrap this button. Okay, so now let's add a backticks. So when we press this link, so we need to append. So as you see, this. So first thing is entry. And that is equal to what? Well, that should be equal to entry dot value, right? So if we save and go back, let's test this out. So entry A, perfect. Entry B, perfect. Now, let's do for the rest of the buttons. Let's go down there and do the same. All right. And grab this and do it for the rooms. Okay, so rooms.value and this. Okay, but now let's go to our browser and test this out. Let me just remove this. Okay, this is working. This is fine. If we press here, this is alright. But as you can see, I lost the ability to have multiple filters here. And how we can fix that? Well, let's go back from the start. And we need to append other parameters here. So floor, it will be equal to what? Well, to currently selected floor. So selected floor and rooms will be equal to currently selected rooms. Of course, you can always do this in a smarter way, isolate this to a separate function and make it readable, but that's not in the scope of this tutorial. And here, let me do it like this. I'm going to copy this line of code and paste it over here. Entry will be selected entry, right? But we are changing here floor, so this is going to be a floor dot value. And I'm going to do the same for the rooms. And this will be default value, that will be selected entry, and here we're going to add rooms dot value. And let me test this out. All right, so here, as you can see, we have N3A, but floor is null, rooms is also null. And why so? Well, because we did not select them and the default value is null. So what we can do here is, if we get this entry, great, give me value. But if we don't get them, then don't do null, but do an empty string. Then we can do it here the same, and here the same. This is basically a shorthand instead of writing something like, something like this. All right. So if we have that value, then perfect, give it to me. And if you don't, just pass an empty string, so we don't break this URL. Okay, let's test this again. All right, this is great. Okay, I think it's working. Yes, but now what happens if we press here? Nothing. Well, that's because we did not set that function. So let me go back here to the reset button and also wrap it with a link. Now href, it will be okay. Let me wrap it. So N3 will be floor is selected floor, room selected rooms, but N3 should be, let's test this out. Yep, perfect. So you can do it like this, or you can pass an empty string. Perfect. Okay, so now let's do the same down there. So okay, thank you. So floor is an empty string in this case, and in this case for the reset button, floor should be, rooms should be empty string, right? Okay. Perfect. Let's save and see what we have here. Okay, this is working. Great. Perfect. Now, one last thing left. If I go here and remove use client directive and save, we are going to see an error here, and that's perfectly fine because useSearchParams is a client thing. So we don't need to use this anymore. We can remove it. We can remove also this because we are not using it. We can remove this and this. Okay, thankfully we can get this searchParams directly here from the props because this is a server-side page. So searchParams. And now The only difference here is we don't need to use this get, but we can access it like an object. So searchParams.entry, searchParams.floor, and searchParams.rooms. Okay, let me save it. Let's go back here. Let's reload the page. And as you can see, this is working great. Now, of course, let me go back. This is a TypeScript error. So here I have types, and this is from Next.js documentation, basically a type for searchParams. So I can go here and let's say, so this searchParams, it is equal to searchParams, this type. Generally speaking, this can also be an array of strings, right? So in this case, since we know it is in URL param, it is a type string, it would be safe to add a type assertion here, so as a string. All right, now this is a completely server-side page, and we can also uncomment this metadata, save, and let's test everything again. Let's say entry B, and I want third floor. Also, I want to send this to a friend, and yep, that would be it. Alright friends, that would be all for this tutorial. In the next one, I will be doing this website from the scratch. It will be a full stack project with the CMS, adding this data, filtering, and so on. So if you're interested in that, and if you're not subscribed to my channel, please do so, and see you again in the next one. Bye.